Well, what on earth have we got on the bench today? Well, it's the last of the big box of radios from what I thought was the Lancashire Car Club, but in fact it isn't Lancashire Car Club at all, because it's Bury St Edmunds, which I must admit I hadn't heard of, except kind of probably just, I was thinking Bury in Lancashire. Anyway, this has been beautifully done. Right. Let's hope this one is as straightforward as the retuning test that the Beta 1100 and the Communicator NI440 DX required. But I think what we'll do is we'll plug it in. I've got 8 minutes. I thought we'll get the thing started. It's very difficult to fit anything in. As I said before, we had no intention of taking any repairs on this year at all, but we thought we'd fit in one a week, and then there's been so many coming, I've had to do a bit more than that. So we'll just connect it up to our connector so we can short it out, and as ever we're going to start the power supply off at 12.8 volts and at 350 milliamps in case there's a major, did I say that right, a major malfunction. We plug our standard test mic in. So it's not Land Rovering they do, it's classic cars and that kind of stuff. So I really think that sets with lots of knobs on aren't suitable, but that's their business, isn't it? Anyone know which extension speaker is? Because I can't see. Okay, it comes on channel 19 and it lights up. So there's the start. Right, change the power supply to 13.8 volts at 1.6 amps. We'll switch picture in picture on. I'll find a piece of paper. Tell you what, I'll use the reverse side of his letter. What does it say about it? Tune-up and optimization. Rotel RV. I can't even. See, I'm in a hurry. Right. Here goes. Why haven't I got the other camera on? Go and find out what's happened to it. Right, so we now should have picture in picture, and this radio is on. Make sure it's in the correct mode. Normal, that, normal, normal, delta tune there, RF gain, mic gain, dimmer, right. Transmit, it is doing more than 3 watts, it is doing 3.8 watts. Deviation, wallow. 3.4 kilohertz deviation, so that's a no-no. Frequency, not quite warmed up, it's been on about 15 minutes. 27.7 8845 meets miles out, absolutely miles out, and that isn't to do with the instrument warming up. Legally it's just in spec, but it wouldn't be copyable properly. Receive. So I've got to set the receive to the same as the transmit to get a true figure. So what did we say? It was 2778850, we'll call it. 2778 So just check 27 78845 27 7885. So we've got transmit and receive matching, so we get a true figure that way. So that's 1 microvolt. Let's put it over to the cyanide meter and let's have a look. So for 12 dB cyanide, it's 0.46 microvolts, which is very good. We might improve on that. Right, so I've just got time to take the lids off, turn it off. So on the face of it, it's just miles off tune frequency wise. Now it's interesting that 3 of these sets have been really miles off in the same direction, and it just makes you wonder whether someone with a very inadequate frequency counter has looked at, well, whether they've just all dropped naturally the same amount. So I can't see anything dodgy about that. At first glance, the cores look to be okay in there. I can't see any distressed capacitors. So when I come back, which will be much later, probably about 7 o'clock, we will get on with a tune-up of this. So I'm back up. It's about 7 o'clock. Mr. Chippy would like to test this in half an hour, so let's see whether we can get it out of the way. So where's one of Mr. Chippy's crocodile clip leads? We're always pinching those. But first of all, we're going to switch the set on and put it on channel 1. I've remembered that bit. And without the crocodile clip lead, we will just see if we can find page 1 of this. Oh, it's channel 40 on these sets. Channel 40, and they want 4 volts. So test point is resistor 4. Got 4.2. So very slight adjustment of the coil. Well, that's neither here nor there. Going to transmit, 4 volts. Look at that, 4.1, that'll do beautifully. Pop across to channel 1, and we should have, that looks right, but let's look at exactly what it says. Something like 1.8. It's 1.9 to 2.5 on receive, and on transmit it should be 1.8 to 2.5. It's 2.2. So very slight twiddle there. It didn't really need anything doing, but just for the demonstration, that is it. So into transmit, see whether we can get more than it's now dropped to 4.2 watts, which it's like. I'll tell you what, we'll put it on frequency. So let's just, we've not got the picture-in-picture camera. That it's about 4.05. 4.05. You know what I'm doing? I forgot to put it back on channel 20. Start again. 4.05. 4.05. Wow, it's just in the way of this. That's spot on as well. So now, fingers crossed that none of these cores are broken. Maximum, maximum, maximum. Just go back to that one. Yeah, that's maximum, so it's about 4.1. So they want you to rotate L4 clockwise to get 4.4. Well, the set won't do 4.4, so we'll rotate it clockwise so it just starts to move downwards. And then they want you to rotate coil 9, isn't it? Anti-clockwise for 3.8 watts. Except we're going to set it for 4 watts. We don't have to get it through a customs check. And then we'll check whether we've got that kind of power on channel 40 and channel 1. So we've got 4 watts exactly on channel 40, and we've got 4 watts exactly on channel 1. So go back to channel 20, and we've possibly got 4.02 or something like that. So that's fine. So we'll just pop this on frequency. It's miles out, 27,79125. Can't even find the trimmer, it's there. Hoping it'll go. You know what, it won't. No, we're going to have to change the reference crystal. Or is it just a noise squelch? Oh, I don't know. Or is it a Roger bleep? I just don't know. No idea. That's well glued on. Bury AS2. Is that so? Is that supposed to be some auto squelch or something? So it doesn't. This isn't anything that it does affect the transmit. Right, I'll pause the video while I do this. pause the video and see whether we can find out what's happened. I hope that's been recording. I've just gone through the receiver and improved it. So, having done the detector and gone through the front end and finding that we've got one coil well out there and the detector there, I'm sure this hasn't recorded, we're now down to 0.3 of a microvolt, which was quite some significant improvement from 0.46, which was already okay. So where we've got to now is to get to the squelch control and hope it wasn't affected. I can't see that they've actually taken anything out to add that auto squelch in inverted commas in, or whatever it is. So if I've got the squelch at full, which I have, we'll turn this till we get to 100 microvolts. So it's 1, 3, 10, 30. It's coming in at 30. Let's just see whether we can adjust that down a fraction. 100. I want it in at 100. That's 100. Yep, that's set right. So let's see how it is at the sensitive end. So parking that at 0.3 of a microvolt, putting it to standby. Squelch now to threshold. Switch the signal generator back on. Straight in. So the squelch is coming at 0.32 microvolts. It's leaving at 0.28. So the squelch is working fine, which I thought we'd be having to trace down all kinds of odd parts which have been removed. Right, so going back to an S9 signal equivalent of 100 microvolts, we want that to show on the meter as S9, and it's banging across to plus 30. So with we'll adjust that S meter for it to read S9, just like that, and that's it. So we brought the 3.8 watts up to 4 watts, which is neither here nor there. 304.4 deviation brought down that to 2.2 to 2.5. So just make a note of that. 2.2 to 2.5. By changing the reference crystal, I managed to bring it up to 79084. I haven't got any crystals better than that. With no scrap chassis with them on. We haven't got any new ones that are any nearer. I actually went through 20 to find one that good. And if we have to start having crystals made, I say we're talking about 35 quid. That's well in spec, but it's not 100% right. Sensitivity has been improved from 0.46 microvolts, and we won't be charging for that crystal. And they brought it down to 0.3 of a microvolt, reset the squelch. So we now have a good working set. It's had some wear, and that's great. I mean, it's 40 years old, isn't it? So let's pop that bottom back on. And pop that top back on. It's interesting, the speaker says on it max on it, so that's been pinched out of a max on set, has it? Helps if I put the speaker lid the right way around. Right, we'll get some screws in this. And we'll do an on the air test in a moment with Mr. Chippy, who's raring to go. Excellent. Right, we'll put it on the aerial. Switch the test gear off. Switch picture off. So I'm absolutely sure we didn't manage to record all of this one, but I can't go backwards. One Anna Roger. Nineteen a Roger. You know how much I brought the meter down. It's fluctuating round 4. A lot of residual background noise today. Right, so we're doing on the air test with that, and so we've got another RVC240 done. So basically it was a retuning test. Reference crystal so far out it was unacceptable. I've replaced that, and away we go. So on the air test, here we come. So thank you for watching, and apologies for messing up the video on that. I just haven't got the time to be always looking at where the mixer is.